Hello guys, welcome to today's video tutorial. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to install this Flutter script directly from codecanyon.net. So the first thing you want to go ahead to do is to type in your preferred browser, codecanyon.net, just the way it is here, and then you're going to be redirected to this website where you can actually search your Flutter script directly from the search here. So today I'm going to be walking you through how to install this Get LMS multi-instructor application. So this is learning management system. Okay, so these are the item details here, these are the reviews, and these are the comments. This is the old look of the application. So what I advise you do right now is to go look at the documentation of this script and ensure you go through it, know the latest features and every other thing that is needed. Once you're done with that, you want to go ahead to click on this add to cart. This is where your product or your script per se is going to be added to cart, and you see this pop up where it just shows you a little bit more details about this particular script. So this is a $34 script, and what you want to go ahead to do now is to go to checkout. So go to checkout, you can be redirected to a page where you're going to be asked for your credentials and payment details, something like that. So you just want to go ahead to add it, and if you don't already have an account for it. So we're not going to go through this process because we've already purchased the script and we don't want to do that the second time. But for you, this is going to be a straightforward process. You just have to follow the prompts that come up immediately. So in order to get started with Flutter, we need three tools. Okay, so the first tool is Flutter SDK itself. The second tool is going to be Android Studio IDE, which is the official IDE for mobile app development, and then there is Visual Studio Code. So most people like using Visual Studio Code, while most of us like using Android Studio. So I want to show you the two tools that we can use in order to get started with Flutter. So let's start with Flutter SDK. So the first thing you want to go ahead to do is to go to your browser and type in docs.flutter.dev/get started, and you're going to be redirected to this official Flutter documentation where you have a lot of things written about Flutter, layout, responsiveness, the UI, everything resources that you need in Flutter. You can learn Flutter is here. So I'm going to be walking you through these get started steps and just how you can install Flutter to your system. So I'm using a Windows. If you're using a Mac OS or any other OS, you can go ahead and select it here. But in our case, I'm going to select Windows because this is my current device. And the next step you want to go ahead to do is to choose your first type of application. So configuration wise, I want my application to be Android for my first type, except I change it. Alright, so I want to go ahead and select Android here. And once that is done, the next thing you want to do is to check your software requirements as well as your hardware requirement. So there's a bit more changes here. So yes, they're mostly some kind of requirements that are always displayed here. Well, I think they've updated the site, the documentation rather. So what you want to go ahead to do is to just read through this and get the proper requirement for running Flutter in your local device. So the next step we have here is to install the Flutter SDK. Alright, so there are two different options. The first option is using the VS Code, while the second option is downloading and installing it directly from this website. So I'm going to be using this second step because I assume you don't have VS Code already. Okay, so download and install Visual Studio directly from here. So what you want to go ahead to do is to click on this button. You're going to be downloading a stable version of Flutter, which is 3.29.3. and you want to go ahead to add it. This is probably the location where you're going to be downloading it to, which is a downloads folder, and you want to create a new folder perfectly inside your C folder, just the way it is here. Alright, so you just want to go ahead and use this example to know what you're doing exactly. And when you do that, you want to create the folder, maybe call it a unique name like dev, development, Flutter project, something like that that is just unique to you. So an example of this is going to be like where you have your C program files, right? So you just want to go ahead and put it somewhere there. So this is a typical example of where it's being downloaded currently as you're downloading. Your user profile with Flutter, ZK, and tip. So yeah, this is the destination, right? So extract the file into this destination, just into your C folder, and just directly there. Okay. So once you're done with that, you want to go ahead to update your Windows path variable. So how you do that is to press this command, and once you do that, go inside your advanced system settings and enter environment variables. And once you're in environment variable, you just want to locate the system variables, and you have to get your bin path directly from Flutter. Okay, so you just have to navigate inside Flutter and inside bin. Just have to copy it and then paste it there, right, in your environment variables, and you just have to click on OK, and that's all that is needed to be done. So now that is out of the way, we want to get our different IDEs. So I'm going to be showing you Android Studio at first. So the way to get in here is to just type in your browser developer.android.com/studio, and you can go ahead to read a couple of things like the IDE guides, the documentation for Android Studio, just to know your way around Android Studio. This is a typical look of how Android Studio looks like. All right, so you have your code here, and you can actually have your UI view, embedded inside of Android Studio. So the new features, you can go ahead and read all of that. So you just want to go ahead and click on this download Android Studio methods. This is the current version of Android Studio at the time. So you just want to go ahead and click on it, and the pop-up that shows your terms and conditions, the terms and conditions of Android Studio is just going to pop up. You just want to go ahead and read it carefully and understand what Google means and all that. So once you read through all of this carefully and you're good to go, just want to go ahead and click on this checkbox that is showing that you've read and agreed to these terms and conditions above. Then you'll be able to access this download button right here. So you just want to go ahead and click on it, and then your download is going to begin. So once that is done, you want to go ahead and download your final tool, which is Visual Studio Code. So the way to get into Visual Studio Code is just typing code.visualstudio.com/download, and in here you're going to be seeing this website, so you can just download directly. Click on this, a lot of things here. So what you want to do is to select your OS, and there are different options here where you can actually download Visual Studio from. So regularly I'm going to be using Windows, so I just want to go ahead and click on this Windows. Once you click on this Windows, your installation is going to begin. And so yeah, says here thanks for downloading Visual Studio Code. So the installation for this is quite straightforward. You just need to open the downloaded exe file and just start running Visual Studio. For Android Studio, installation is straightforward. You just have to follow the prompts that come in after you've clicked on install or something. So now that we're done with the tools that we need, let's go ahead and open any of the IDEs that we want, and then let's run this Flutter. So this is how our application looks like. So how you're going to get in here is to just locate your folder and open it up directly from here. So this is my postman.yaml where I have my dependencies, and this is my main.dart. This is my main.dart. So the project follows this structure. It's using getX for state management and all that. So you want to go ahead to understand the code structure and all that. So we have components, we have things like controllers, we have core, where we have our common models and helper classes. We have data, we have obviously our models and all that. So we have the features, which is where our screens and every other thing is, all the features of the application, and then we have our utils class. So this is all that we have in this application, and we want to go ahead and run this. So to run this, you just have to, if you haven't already, automatically pop get. So you want to run the following command. The first command is flutter clean. Flutter clean, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say Flutter clean here. Flutter clean. So this is gonna clean your repository. So I'm not gonna be running this, sorry about that. So, but these are commands that you should run. So Flutter pub get. The next command you need to run in order to reinstall these packages, and then finally let's run Flutter run. This is a command where you're gonna use to run your Flutter application. So also there's an issue here saying I've not connected my device. So what you need to do in order to start running this application is to connect your physical device or your emulator, depending on which one you're currently using. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Give me a second. So this is my emulator down here, just as you can see it. So that's my emulator. I'm just going to try to do this one more time by quitting. Sorry about that. This is I'm going to say Flutter run again. So it's launching and it's going to build and then it's going to run. Alright, so our application is running. So this is the splash screen of our application. Let's just give it a couple of time. So that is how to run our Flutter script directly after installing it from codecanyon.net. Thank you very much and see you next time.